Biden's press secretary was asked about the performance of the economy in regards to black unemployment. She didn't like that question. Let's talk about it. Hello, everyone. This is Keith. Welcome to the Ghetto Sapien channel, your home of inner city intelligence. I'm wearing my Enjoy Capitalism t-shirt. It's not my own design. I wish I did it, but I'm wearing it. It just happens to be a coincidence that I will be talking about capitalism for a moment here. But let me just give you the attitude that unfortunately permeates the black community when it comes to capitalism, at least in my personal experience. So when I wore this t-shirt about 3 years ago, my old neighborhood, I wore it in the first day. The first hour I wore it, I got a response. I was at a supermarket and an older guy, even older than me, just asked me, because he was staring at my shirt and I knew he wanted to say something. So he said, "Do you believe in that?" And I was like, "You mean capitalism?" He said, "Yeah, do you believe in capitalism?" I'm like, "Well, yeah. I believe it's a good system. It's brought more people out of poverty than any other system before it." So he said, "Well, I don't own nothing." And I didn't quite understand what he meant, but after speaking to him what he meant own, he had the desire to just be able to put stuff in his shopping cart at the supermarket and walk out the door. That is, so since capitalism didn't allow him to do that, to get free stuff, it's a failure. So I explained to him that, here, look, what capitalism does, it makes the supermarket possible. The other way to get food without capitalism, it would be using force. You'd have to have a gun, you'd have to go up to a farmer and say, "Hey, give me your eggs or I'll put a couple of holes in you." It would take coercion, it would take force to get someone to give up something they invested their time and money in. Capitalism allows, so we have a free market where people can freely exchange goods and services. Capitalism doesn't even necessarily need money. It's just the exchange of two parties. One person wants what the other has more than the other person has. One person has one thing the other guy wants, and vice versa. And they're like, okay, so we'll exchange. In this case, it's money, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. That's how capitalism works. And without it, there wouldn't be any supermarket. So I just thought it was funny that he's standing in the center of capitalism, or at least one of the fruits of it, and he didn't even see that. So, yeah, we need a lot more education about capitalism. So getting back to the subject at hand, black unemployment. Let's talk about the difference between then, just a few years ago, and now.
And something I'm very proud of, African American unemployment stands at the lowest rate ever recorded.
Everybody standing. Now, this is the Black Congressional Caucus. They've been around for decades, long before Trump got into office. But yet, black unemployment has never been so low. So I wonder what the common denominator is. These guys have been in office for decades. One new guy gets in, all of a sudden, unemployment drops quite a bit. And I'm sure these people would just love to get up and celebrate such a wonderful thing, but the kente cloth is probably made out of lead, so they can't stand up. Either that, or their attitude is, if we can't help black people, nobody better help black people. They probably prefer that all the black and Hispanic people would turn down those jobs just to make Trump look bad, because it makes them look bad if they take those jobs. That's how petty this looks, at least to me. It's just pathetic. They should have stood up. They should have showed they were happy for the constituents and, getting jobs and doing well at them. But that's politics, man.
And Hispanic American unemployment has also reached the lowest levels in history.
No, not the Hispanics too. That's killing them.
Later. quick question on the jobs report as well. Total black employment is down 3 straight months now, with 635,000 jobs lost in that spell, which is the most ever in a 3-month stretch outside of the pandemic. Is that a setback for the administration, and do you have a comment?
So I'll just remind you that under this administration back in April, you saw the unemployment rate hit a record low at 4.7%, and that was just a couple months ago. Again, under this administration, look.
Okay, rather than answer the question, she just went into like REM sleep, because she blinks more than I do when I'm in the middle of a dream, I imagine. She did not answer the question. She didn't explain why the rate for black unemployment is so low right now. Black unemployment, I'm sorry, is so high right now. And it's just, they have no answers. Again, they've been in office. Biden's been around for 50 years and nothing's changed for the better. So they'd rather you just ignore it. Government is not the answer to our unemployment issues. They should move out of the way, if anything, especially for the black community. There's no evidence that government has really helped black people achieve economic independence. In fact, if anything, they need to just get out of the way. Just check this out. A lot of people are surprised when I tell them the golden age of black entrepreneurship is between 1900, as you can see here, and 1930. There's no way you can tell me that the government was helping black people back then. There was government assistance programs. There was affirmative action. None of that was in place. Here's just a couple of details. University of Texas business historian Dr. Juliet E.K. Walker was the first to name the period between 1900 and to 1930 in the United States as the golden age of black business. She observed that many companies owned by black entrepreneurs, which serve primarily black customers, obviously, thrived in a country starkly divided along racial lines. So yeah, black people did a lot better when government just left everyone the F alone. All these regulations aren't helping. Affirmative action doesn't help. What helps is when we have strong families and our belief in God. That is where generational wealth is created and passed on. The more the government gets in, the more it just drains away from the economy. Every dollar spent by the government is just explodes the growth of the government, and creates more government dependence. Money's best spent by the person who owns, who generated the money, who owns the money. Government's the worst spender of money. Period. I think there'd hardly be any argument for that. So I'm not really going to credit Trump in particular or Biden for the black unemployment rates. That's up to black people. The best the president can do is to create an environment, an economic environment that's pro-job and pro-investment. I'll give Trump at least a nod in that direction, because one of the things he did was lower taxes and to eliminate quite a bit of government regulations, which cost us billions of dollars a year to comply with. Biden went the opposite direction. He's spending a ton of money. He's back with the regulations. So yeah, it's going to have some effect on unemployment. Also giving us stimulus checks for nothing. You kind of break the relationship between money and work. So all of that just helps create an environment that's detrimental to employment and investment. But it's still, again, it's up to the individual to go out there and get jobs or make jobs. So ultimately, it's up to us to lower the black unemployment rate, not so much the president, because presidents come and go. But that is my comment on this. What's yours? Like, share, comment, and subscribe.